yeah, I'd say that Fury definitely have the tempo in this game.
Let's spin in. Let's load ourselves into Rift for our second series of the night. Another battle near the bottom of the table as teams look to try and assert themselves in a prime position to play towards the playoffs. That's what we're all about. This is another one of those matchups where it really could come down to the head-to-head, determining who makes up those top 6 teams. And right away, we nearly, very, very nearly, had a little bit of level 1 action.
Oh, but that was actually kind of smart what he did, because he actually drew their attention. So if they were standing on both sides of the bush, if they were standing on that left side of that bush, they might have been able to spot Tomasino invading, but actually Nox took their attention away, played with them, never intended on face checking, and gave Tomasino the opportunity to walk into the jungle.
Minions have
very nice from Fury.
It does beg the question then, would anything come off this? Would they both collapse on Gudo, knowing that there's potentially still somebody in that bush? Is it too much of a risk to take?
I think it's over, Skimmy. I think the Trundle will walk into the enemy blue buff and Maokai will just die. Like, how do you win? You can't even win this 2v3. Trundle Udyr just completely so strong. He's even got to do the solo invade, so he's just going to get the buff to reset on Tomasino and allow his Trundle to do the red buff.
He's on. He's not just looking for a denial, he's looking for a kill. He wants first blood, so the Phoenix is out. He's down low. He says, what, I've done enough? That Ghost, didn't get the kill, but it's really interrupted your flow.
Yeah, Rito, please fix. I mean, that just does not look balanced. Level 1, you're a tank, you just one-shot the enemy tank. And he's not even going to the top wave because he knows that missing a couple minions won't matter. I mean, it's just disgusting, right? Get this out of our games, please!
Is that a first blood? I mean, at this point,
don't leash the smite!
You're just wishing there was a flash to get the kill.
He's just toying with...
Have we gone back in time to playing like Janna smite lane top? We just don't... What is going on?
God.
Why is that a first blood?
That's so smart by Nox, just knowing that the only play for Maokai there, right, is to go to the Raptor camp. But he's having a look, but what can you do, mate? It's a Trundle with a red buff.
He's going to
get some vision.
You're going to literally heal him through your auto attacks, and your bot lane can't help. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Maokai is just going to be starved. His game is completely ruined. And Trundle gets very accelerated off this play, and Udyr, he's not going to mind. He missed a couple minions of XP, but that's all good. It doesn't really change his matchup much.
The mid lane, it's going to be a case of VHOP saying, well, maybe I can try and find Siege or at least a little bit of tempo in this lane. Not that easy. You've rocket jumped in, and then you've realized, maybe not what I wanted.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to think about is, you know, as a mage, you do start with 2 pots, and Tristano starts with 1. So if you take an even trade like that, it's actually not favorable because the guy just double pots, and suddenly you're down, you know, 100, 200 health, and lose control of this wave.
Yeah, look at this. This is crazy. Zero HP to his name. Chirp can play as aggressively as he wants. Knows that they've both got TP available to them, so it's just a free reset to base.
Yeah, very, very. That's the kind of reset that tilts you mentally as a mid, right? When you see the other guy resetting within your tower range and you can't do anything to stop it. So that's a bit of mental warfare there from Chirp. We'll give him a little bit of props. And Nox just continuing to counter jungle, taking everything. Maokai is still level 2. He's very sad in this game. And there's a potential bot dive angle, or at least a flash, because that ward in the tri buff doesn't actually cover Trundle. He chooses not to path to Krugs, takes the fastest route bot lane.
Yeah, now it's the case. Can we get the hard CC? Oh, agonizingly close to that handshake. If that was there, the pillar was going to come down, and if anything, that was a guaranteed flash to get themselves out. But look, credit to Dark. He's stood strong for the meantime and said, you know what, Findo, you and Hooper, you might be aggressive, you might be hunting for that gank. But we're going to make sure that you get health checked.
Yeah, and I think we have to just highlight the fact that that ward's being pinged out. You know, the red side ward was the first one placed in that bush, and so Trundle and Nox knew exactly where the enemy ward was. So he could have just walked around and that would have been a flash, but he got a little bit impatient, took the shortest route, and just gets a little heal out of the Milio. Still a positive play, but could have been so much more.
Can Gudo find something to salvage this game for him? Because his jungle pathing has been absolutely roaming. He walks up, gets spotted by a ward, realizes nothing's going to happen, and back to a side of the jungle that really doesn't exist. He's waiting for respawns.
Yeah, it's just so hard to gank top lane now in the season. 1 ward, and really there's no way to come from behind. It spots you, and the distance between where the ward is placed and where the laner is so long that as long as you're leaning away from River as top, you just walk away on any champion. Really, it's just quite safe. We'll see if they go for Void Grubs. Nox really sticking to this bot side of the map, trying to get these camps on respawn, giving away the grubs for free to a Maokai who is no items and a level 3. I think it's a bit of a blunder from Nox. He should definitely be contesting this camp and not letting his foot off the gas.
It does seem like a difference in opinion as to how they want to try and play out this early game and look to try and lock out Gudo for the most part. It's like, we'll take your jungle, you can get the Void Grab. So I think that's a bit of a strong bailout to the situation, given that Tomasino right now is a bit of a fight, taking on Nectar, and this time he's going to receive a fair bit of pain. Not going to just be able to proc a turtle shield and laugh it off.
Yeah, I mean, surprising. Nectar's playing really well in this matchup. Tomasino rushed the Null Magic Mantle, right? And he should be winning this lane. He should be winning the trades, but actually he's down 15 CS. I guess because of the level 1, he gave us Trundle a great game at the cost of his own, a good teammate, but it's really going to be up to Nox to make up for this deficit in top lane.
See it and how they do decide to stabilize, because Nox has been camping mid lane for what feels like a bit of an eternity. Very hard, obviously, to try and shut down a Tristan, especially when they're playing towards the top lane, or top half, rather, of the lane. Gudo, though, is going to say to Tomasino, you've tried to be sneaky, you've tried to be crazy, but I'm going to give you a little bit of vengeance. Now, what is he going to try and do to try and deter this one? Because he needs to try and trim the wave first of all. But Gudo goes in, Gudo's going to die. What is going on there? Shield comes out, second TP, back him up, Nectar in trouble. Nectar's going to deny as well to the tower. Scratching my head. I am really scratching my head of that one, and somehow Tomasino has literally saved the game for himself.
Yeah, Skibby, if we were on chess.com, that would be called a blunder, something I see a lot when I play that game. And not really sure what to say. 2v1 dive, Maokai walks in, misses his Q, doesn't force the empowered form from Tomasino, and yeah, Gudo just needs to go faster. He can't miss his Q, he's got to go melee, but Tomasino does a really good job spacing out, actually dodges the first part of the Gwen ult as well, and there's just not enough damage to finish off the Udyr there, and that's why this champion is picked all around the world, because it's just so self-sufficient. 1v2, 1v3, 1v1, he doesn't care. Doesn't care if he's behind in CS, doesn't care if we're talking badly about how his lane's going. He'll just find a way to win. And I think the fairest part of it all from a Fury perspective is that Nox rocks up, Chirp TP's in, they get nothing for it right now. It's just at all, they're just like, oh cool, nice one. So back to their regular scheduling. Yeah, sure is, and that was the champion that we said needed to get ahead, the Gwen. They could have a free game, and doesn't look like he's going to have the best of time this game, so we're kind of down to Duck and E-Hop to pick up the pieces for Mammoth. Oh, the jump.
Speaking of, though, E-Hop has taken a moment to say, I can jump in and be aggressive. Buster shot into towards Chirp, flashed away. Nox says, I don't really care. I hit a subjugate, I hit a chomp, and you know, you're just going to fall on down. It seems a little bit too easy at this point for Fury. 8 minutes in, gold lead, 4 kills Dragon, and really no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, and that's the Akshan syndrome, the Tristana syndrome that we saw in the previous game. Rhea Fury dying the same way. Really, these champions require you to use your escape as the gap closer to get a successful trade. And that's why this matchup is so good for Syndra, because Syndra can get trades off without risking her life. And every time Tristana jumps in, if the jungle's there, you're gone.
Nice cleanse coming out there from Darkest to China Corruption, level 6 difference. Really did come into effect there. He's going to take over level 6 now with the Moonlight Vigil. Could use the red weapons to try and life leech all this back up, but he's just going to take the fight to them. There it is, back to full HP. And yeah.
Yeah, nice from him. I think that just the way that he moved there and he clicked forward instead of backwards when he was getting low, like, it shows that he has confidence. He knows he's never going to die in that situation, never in any danger. It's good to see. E-Hop just in a lot of trouble. Constantly with pan mid, and we just see Chirp winning this matchup outright.
Oh, back to base he goes again. TP will be up in, I want to say, 5 to 10 seconds, so he might be able to use that one to return to this and not really lose out on too much. But yeah, I mean, it really feels like Chirp is starting to get a bit of a hold of this lane, building a bit of a CS lead for himself, and really relying on the rest of the team to use their tempo and strength, be it that they've got a double bounty in their top jungle, to say we can do as we really please.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the biggest thing about this game is that we've got 2 tanks who are incredibly fed for Fury. That's a very beefy front line. On the other side, we just have 1 tank, Maokai, who's behind, and he's going to get Trundle ulted. So there is no tanks. There is no tanks for Mammoth. Against an Udyr and a Trundle, it'd be very hard to play a front to back, even with a double AD carry comp.
Bot lane, despite having its little fights, has been the quietest of them all, you'd have to say. Junglers have paid a little bit of attention towards it, but mainly been more interested in top and mid to try and break open that portion of the game. That certainly has been where it's gone. 10 minutes, the Kenix come on out, so no surprise that Tomasino is the most fed, probably has the most gold in the game, I'd imagine, as Ward is going to spot out the reset of Mammoth. And 10 minutes in, nothing really to come of it.
Yeah, safe and sound for Hooper. Waits for the last second, grabs the wave. Gets a nice little lead there, and the bot lane probably denies the full cannon, but you saw Mammoth starting to walk towards top lane and then changing their minds, going back to bot. It looks like they're giving the grubs. These grubs were the one win condition they had. They could have collected all 6 grubs had they committed their bot lane, but looks like they're saying this Udyr has a full item completed. We don't want to go anywhere near him.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, right? So making it a 3-3 is simply going to be the outcome of this play, and I think either side is going to feel too hard done by this one. Although, in saying that, Fury could actually get a good bit of timing here, where they can go from grubs to Dragon if the lane assignments work out in their favor. And certainly, if Gudo is in a situation like this, he's flashed across the wall, trying to do counter jungling from a position behind, and is really going to have to resign himself to saying, "I'll get nothing, just my life intact."
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit unfortunate. He is definitely doing the correct thing. He's trying to trade something, even if it's just a wolf count for the grubs. He knows the enemy jungle's on the other side of the map, but unfortunately just a good awareness from Fury, dropping a couple minions to get the Maokai flash. Absolutely worthwhile. And Mammoth starting up the Dragon. Looks like Nox is a little bit too far away to contest it, but it might still look for the fight.
He does rock up to this fight. Titanic Hydra completed, but the Dragon might just fall on down a little bit too quick. If they don't get the Dragon, perhaps they find a team fight afterwards. It's in smite range, and Gudo surely is going to secure that one for the team. So out comes the hostile takeover, couple that with the chain of corruptions and a breath of life, purifying all kinds of CC. But after that one, they still have more Phyto, and they say we're going to look for more. Gudo just runs away with the assistance of a campfire, and surprisingly, nobody falls on down.
Yeah, I think Fury forgot they were playing against Milio because they just used both of their AoE crowd control abilities at the same time, and they got cleansed by 1 Milio. So that is very good value from Asta, very good trigger discipline. He could have instantly cleansed the first CC, but he actually held it and got incredible value out of that skill. And overall, you know, Mammoth grab a Dragon, they stop the Dragon stacking, and they can delay the game a little bit longer.
Yeah, they certainly can, and I think that's really what they're after at this point, because they know that this game has gone out of control quite early, especially from the point you mentioned previously about the double bruisers being the ones that are the most fit in the game right now. It's always so annoying. I mean, I'm sure you've had it time and time again in your solo queue games where like the top laner TP's down bot lane with like a 3-level advantage. You're thinking, why? There's no fairness to this. Absolutely, yeah. This Udyr is just going to be massive in this game, and for Mammoth, I mean, what do? You just catch waves, say, guys, don't fight. Let's wait for 1 item spikes. I mean, at one point, they're going to be at 1 item, and Fury will be at 1.5, and that's probably the fairest fight they're going to get in this game. Perhaps they have to drop the Rift Herald. It's a little bit too hard to contest at this point, and definitely have to give up a jungle camp here and there. Oh, Subjugate was actually used. It's a feigned engage, wasn't it? It was like a case of like, I'm going in, but maybe I'm not.
Yeah, he was just sending a message with that one, but that could prompt Mammoth into contesting this Rift, knowing that the Trundle is down. However, they have not a single completed item, so it's definitely a risky affair. And Duck 1 getting teleported on.
Uh-oh, look how fast Tomasino is with the home guards and the Ghost. You can flash that wall, but Duck is still in trouble because this Udyr is showing no signs of slowing down, even underneath the turret. Finally realizes, okay, guys, it's only 14 minutes in, maybe just relax.
Well, we'll see if Syndra has teleport. If she doesn't have teleport, this is a big... She doesn't have any mana. Yeah, look at that. Gwen is getting so much value top lane. Really no objective there. So even if Aphelios ended up dying there to the Udyr, there's really nothing to get, right? There's no tower, there's no dragon. It's 3 plates for Nectar. Not quite. Okay, the 3rd plate comes in. So that is value. That is gold, exactly where Mammoth wanted.
It certainly is. Question is, does Nectar have enough mana to actually try and cast the invulnerability? He doesn't at the very last second. It does not matter. Chirp just runs at him with full confidence. I mean, there's not really much you can do. He was sitting on a Leandris. He's going to pick that up from the graveyard now, but yeah, Fury really just continuing to say, we are stronger, we will fight.
Yeah, definitely just needs to pay the tax there of the Ghost. You know, he stayed for an extra 1 or 2 hits that were very risky to get that plate, right? So you just got to give up the Ghost. You got to... Anyway, here we go. Bot lane.
Obviously, no thirst the world. How strong is the Udyr? How strong is the 2-0 Udyr? Maybe strong enough. He's still fighting. He's still living. The Phoenix comes out. The shield is there. The Veil is propped. But the kill for the reset will not be provided. Another cleanse, making sure that Asta keeps his team topped up and healthy. But Gudo now is in the firing lines, and Nox is going to take him out single-handedly. A TP in as Nectar joins the fight. Instant flash into that Dragon Pit. Super's got no mana, no chance, and no ability to impact this fight much more. E-Hop, literally hopping around the map. But he realizes it's a Trundle, easier said than done. So Nectar says, well, I've got Leandris, I've got tier 2 boots, you can subjugate me, but I'm still gonna run you down. Snip, snip, clip.
Wow.
And that will be all she wrote.
Yeah, I was questioning that Gwen TP. It seemed like the fight might be over before she arrives, but that Ghost that he held onto, maybe that was a tactical int in the top lane, so that he has Ghost for this play and picks up a bunch of kills. And Tomasino, there's no Ghost, mate. Where are you going? It's 1v3. He thinks that he's overpowered. He is overpowered, but not this overpowered, so he does die eventually. And Renata, just compensating for the mistake. Just leave the Udyr there. He's gone. It's all good. Tries to set up the fight, flashes forward. But again, this Milia ult cleanses the Renata CC, and Gudo buys so much time with the passive healing, with the knockback, and E-Hop arrives just in time, uses his ultimate a little bit too late. Would have loved to see him sort of flash ult docks backwards here to get this kill faster. They end up losing this mid tower, likely because of that overchase on Nox. Took so long to kill the Trundle. Definitely worth it for the bounty, but at the price of the mid tower, and Mammoth very much back in this game.
They certainly are. I mean, two fantastic cleanses from Aster has really bailed them out of some pretty poor situations at the best of times, and they found a point of strength that we know Fury want to fight. They've got the item advantage, they've got the leverage you were mentioning before as well. But we're not too weak ourselves, despite how pear-shaped things have gone. There's certainly one to believe, and what has been a pretty commanding performance from Fury only finds himself up by, what, 1,500 gold. And they have picked up the Herald. That is the sign of life, and they can look to try and open up another tower. But the mid one is already gone.
Like they're playing for Dragon, but this is the challenge we talked about. It's very dangerous to be on mid-waves as Aphelios against the Trundle Pillar.
There is the pillar, and there it is, getting removed very quickly. I think you'd love to see the likes of the Syndra, the Varus, as well as the Renata all group up together and apply enough CC and pressure that Aster is forced to make a difficult decision. Do I cleanse now, or do I greed it? Because, you know, all coupled together, it's been a little bit too easy for Mammoth to be bailed out. Let's see. Dragon is down to 50.
Look at Nectar. He's got the perfect flank angle. I'd say Mammoth have the better position in this fight. They've already started the Dragon. It's Fury throwing a timer.
Let's see then what Fury decide to do. Out comes the Nature's Grasp. They're going to try and lock as many players as they can as possible. 3 members go out. Out goes the blue ult from the Moonlight Vigil. Not going to be enough to try and stick anybody low. 2 Dragons now picked up by Mammoth as they're the ones forced to try and run away. E-Hop and Nectar both flanking from opposite ends, but Fury never really interested. Didn't really bite, and we'll just fan out back to lanes.
Oh, that is so annoying. If you look at the damage recap there, the Gwen ult, I think he only hit one part of it, and he did 1,000 damage. Just because of the burn on multiple members, even though it's the first part of Gwen ult that doesn't do much damage. It's just the Liandry's plus the Haunting guys adding up over time. So these teamfights are very hard to navigate for Fury. There's a lot of random stuff that comes your way that you need to dodge. Lots of skill shots.
Yeah, so if they don't get that sort of explosive one-shot that they are really craving with the amount of CC, or perhaps the Syndra or one bang, then it really is a case of we need more sustain. We need Life Leech, or in this case, maybe a cheeky Crypt Bloom to keep us going.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you've got to give props to Gudo at that Dragon. I think that was the veterancy coming out. He's just saying, guys, just use our non-committal abilities, secure the Dragon, back away. You know, it's very calm, very collected. It feels controlled from Mammoth, and you know, they're 2 dragons away from Mountain Soul, which is pretty dangerous.
I mean, it certainly is, with a team that wants to be in your face, wants to be getting resets, to get a little bit of extra resistance on top of that, certainly secures the prime strategy that they'll be looking to try and target. Now, it's worth mentioning that the Herald is still in the possession of Nox, hasn't used it just yet, so whilst they do still have that 1k lead, it certainly can balloon to something a little bit more, but because the mid-tier 1 was down, there wasn't that sort of awkward handshake of, we'll summon this, she'll go for the Dragon. They've been really looking to try and find either a pick or an isolated lane to actually get full value out of it.
Yeah, it seems like Mammoth is still very hesitant about retaking their jungle, not committing to one side of the map. You can see they're sort of scattering around the mid-wave, afraid to walk in and reclaim any part of Vision. The good thing, though, is it is a lethality Varus. Baron is not very fast. We see the Herald being summoned top lane. Trundle taking a ride.
And then back to Tomasino, watching Udyr do Udyr things. There goes the turret, there's the stun, and this time there's no cleanse, so what does that mean? That means there is a kill that is definitely not being run away from. So yeah, I mean, ultimately the patience that Fury showed has paid off.
Yeah, E-Hop just staying a little bit too long. Gotta just respect the fact that the tower's gone, your teammates are out of position. And if you want to play like that, you gotta be very sharp on the buffer. That's the problem in this game, is there's too many abilities to buffer. You buffer the Syndra stun, the Trundle Pillar catches you mid-jump, you get interrupted, you're gone. So risky Tristana game for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. You're going to have to really be hot on the money in terms of timing those abilities to know when you can and can't go in. There can be some pretty slim margins at the best of times, so E-Hop's definitely got his work cut out for him. Kraken Slave at the moment, but actually going to pick up a Hex Shrink his second, so already feeling the need to get a little bit more tanky and, you know, survive the potential 1v1 with Chirp.
Yeah, not a huge fan of that because he does need Last Whisper ASAP, otherwise he's never killing this front line, so... and I think if he's going to be mispositioned, the Hex Drink is not going to save his life in this game unless he opts into a full Maw, which is, again, more damage lost. We'll just have to see what Mammoth do. Really, they just have to threaten with the Maokai ult. They have to get some flashes or some, you know, a Varus Cleanse, a Syndra Flash. They need to try and get these tools out of Fury, because if everybody fights 5v5 with all summoners up, there's just no way for Mammoth to win. The front line is just way too tanky, way too durable for Fury.
Surely there's a point of view though that believes that Nectar right now sitting on 2 completed items is an absolute titan to try and contend with, right? Even if you don't have the Last but you've got a double Kraken Slayer, AD carry set up, you're thinking if we get any kind of uptime, what can they do? Because you said before, one ultimate, one snip was enough to try and burn multiple members down to what, 1k damage? So at a 2-item point like this with Merc Treads, the tenacity, everything else coupled together, you're thinking, yeah, cool, you've got a tank, but like, watch their HP shred.
Oh, 100%. I think he's pretty happy about the Frozen Heart being bought on Nudia, not something like... you know, like a Jack Show that gives more magic resist. It's just, there's no... Oh, here we go, E-Hop.
That was a
special delivery, that's huge.
That was
crazy.
That's
massive. That's a Syndra Flash. You know, you should be using Maokai ult to get Syndra Flash, but Syndra is just gifted you the Flash on a silver platter, and they're going to pay with the mid tower as well. So that's Syndra Flash gone, which is the only champion without a cleanse in this game, and lost the mid tower. So Mammoth kind of macro gods in this play.
They certainly are. I mean, that feels pretty hard done by for Chirp. They're feeling like he's strong enough with the 2 items complete, but it wasn't to be the case. And Fury have to concede their mid-tier 1. Unable to try and post a flank from the sides with Tomasino coming on the right-hand side and Noxus battling straight through the mid lane. But not going to stop them too much, though. They are still going to say, well, we've been out-macroed on that occasion. We didn't find the kill. There's the Moonlight Vigil. Not enough to really get us out. Out comes the Breath of Life, cleansing out that Chain of Corruption from the Varus. The immune is the Tomasino. Hostile takeover, making them attack all their own teammates. But even still, unsure, are we going for this fight or are we not? Nectar's dropped low, but nothing is confirmed.
Yeah, a bit of a lack of commitment there. Would have loved to see one of the 80 carries flash forward to get the kill on Chirp, who was stunned, rooted for so long. No tenacity by the Maokai ult, no flash to speak of, but it's a little bit hesitant there from Mammoth. They're hoping to capitalize on this dragon. Fury walking in.
Well, they need Nectar. He is their biggest member at this point. He's winning in base with TP available. Where would he decide to go? Deep and defensive is the outcome. As that harass from the Varus from afar is really starting to add up right now, and Fury denying this dragon really keeps us on our toes here. 2 apiece now as both teams search out the Mountain Soul.
Yeah, decisive play from Fury. Their jungler was not there, but they're just comfortable having the poke. They're playing to chip away at the health bars, and Mammoth...
Baron.
Yep. Mammoth taking a very late recall there. They ran away super far and delayed their recalls. This Baron could be free.
Yeah. Nectar attended the bot wave, wanted to push that out before he came up to this one. No TP available for this one, so I'm sure once we toggle the Fog of War back, down to 40%, it is getting a little bit dicey. I feel like it's gone.
Yep, and the walls give him a perfect avenue to escape. Look at that new Baron pit, giving him a safety corridor of Fog of War to get out of there. And absolute robbery. I mean, they lost the team fight, Fury, you can say, right? They lost the Suns. It was looking like it was going in Mammoth's favor, and somehow they get both the Dragon and the Baron for absolutely free.
Absolute free, yeah. You talk about out-macroed. Well, it's just kind of swinging back and forth as to who can try and hold true when it's really required upon it. You can see the total gold right now. Chirp is the most fed member in this entire game, sitting nearly at 10,000 gold. Nobody close to him, only Nectar really being the beacon of hope for Mammoth at 9,000. But Hooper not too far behind him as those 80 carries battle it out. And Tomasino, I mean, you can tank a turret, you can take it down, but he's not going to shy away. We've seen him before, you know, 1v3, he's in.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the only shining light for Mammoth is the fact that this Lethality Varus does have a cap to it, right? It doesn't really provide more in the late game. So that's the one champion that I suppose they can look at being less useful as this game goes on, if we're talking about scaling. But yeah, I mean, we need the Last Whisper on Tristana, and she's not even close to it. She's not even close to getting the Vori just because of the Hex Drinker rush.
And down so much CS as well, Fight. That's the main concern for me.
Yeah. 70 CS down. Chirp's having a banger of a game. Another one of these performances from him where he's solo carrying the team. They've got a base siege coming in for Fury. They have a lot of tools to siege, lots of range, lots of poke. And really, it's just the Milio to heal up Mammoth.
It's the AoE CC, right, to try and force them back from that tower and force them to have split decision-making is that 1-4 setup. Top lane is passively pushing as well, so there's all three lanes crumbling in on them for Mammoth right now. They're in a bit of a rock and a hard place as to, okay, what do we do? Do we pull the trigger? Do we let them have this one? They've got Baron. They've still got it for another whole minute. How do we sustain this level of siege?
They can't. They have to give it. They can't win a fight. They're afraid to pull the trigger. It makes sense. Really, they're just watching their base crumble. That's going to be potentially 2 inhibs. I don't see what's stopping Fury. They can do the exact same thing. Walk the wave in, throw one ult. They threw the Varus ult. They still have the Renata ult. It's very difficult
to get used as well. I mean, they tried to do as much as they could to make sure that they'd either burn a flash or burn a Milio ult. Nothing along those likes really happened, but they're going to be happy. Of course they're going to be happy. They're taking one inhibitor and knocking on the front door of another 2, so they've kept Mammoth exactly where they want them.
Yeah, perfect, but they do have only one wave of Baron, so this is the last hurrah. If they want to break the base, it's here.
Even if they can get that accomplished, that goes to Milavigil, hits absolutely nothing. Gudo chucks out his ultimate for good measure too. Roots in place. 4 people. This is as good as it gets right now for Mammoth. As Bindo gets Buster shot away, but he survives. The Bellet never even procs. And Nectar's trying to be an absolute weapon. He wants to get it all done on his own. He's taken one so far. A little bit split as Fury runs to the sides. He's unable to find much more.
Yeah, you see that. Even though they're down 7,000 gold, Nectar is still an absolute monster. When he gets in there, when they line up for him, there was 3 or 4 people that were getting hit by the Gwen ult. He does so much damage, even through the magic resist, even through the Renata passive, the Renata healing. Syndra ends up dying. Chirp pays with his life, and that's another big bounty going over to Mammoth. So they've successfully defended the siege. They've lost an inhib. See how this fight starts. A very bad Aphelios ult, kind of panicky. We see a Maokai ult just chipping. Just clipping the Renata, then gets knocked away by E-Hop really poor there. And Nectar, look at that AoE. 1, 2, snip, snip, 3 people, 4 people getting hit. And it's just the Leandri's dot that we were talking about before. It's doing so much damage, it adds up at the end of the team fight.
Yes, what he does. I have no doubt that he's got the most damage for his team done when we look at the post-game graphic of this one, because he's really looking to try and put his team on his back and say, look guys, we will win this. Nash's 2 will be the next acquisition, and at that point, I mean, your damage just absolutely skyrockets. And if they can look to try and find some individual picks like this, maybe this is their ticket back into this game. You said down 7,000 gold before. Well, first of all, can they even catch the Udyr? 3 members running him down, and he's running at your base. Now a 1v4, and he's not stopping. He's buying so much time for his team. He's just going to run through your base and regroup with the rest of the team.
Yeah, Gimme, this is an abomination of a champion, but he finally does end up dying, and I'm actually surprised he ran down towards the base, right? If he just kept going up, the Tristana's got 1 item. She can never kill him, so it's only the fact that he ran into the Fed Aphelios and the Fed Gwen that killed him, but that's a really good sign for Mammoth. They've got a 4v5, and the Dragon's up.
There is a chance, is what we're saying. There's, it's not over. It is not over, despite the scoreline. It still feels like Mammoth are just biding their time, waiting for that next flip-up. But if a few occasions happen like that with the Udyr, and you're thinking, that's our little ticket back into this one, we certainly could play for an Elder.
Yep, they get control. They don't have the Maokai ult, so there's absolutely no engage. It's all on Nectar.
Time goes out, Dark instantly cleanses out that one, taking no risk whatsoever, but also the Milio ult burns. It's an overlap. That is pretty crucial. It's been so impactful in these team fights. Varus ult burn, Hostile Takeover is still there.
TP.
And look at the base. The base is getting absolutely destroyed by supers, but they're not going to try and TP in to end the game. No, they want to TP to stop the recalls back to base. Tomasino's here. A flash across the wall from Fido. The hostile takeover onto 4. Nectar against the Wells. This is his time to shine. Can he do it? Both charges of the ult go across, but look how healthy Fury are. Grouped up as 5. They stand strong, and they group up resilient. They do not care. Mammoth have made a mistake, and Fury are taking full advantage of this one. They know that your base has no chance of survival. In they go. Look at that Nexus turret. A couple of auto attacks, and that one is going to fall on down. And at 30 minutes, Fury going to say, you had your chance. We've given you a ticket back into this one. You've had your moments, but there is no comeback here today.
Yeah, Nectar tried really hard to carry that